When Mark Lawson moved into Willow Creek Estates after losing his wife, Emma, all he wanted was a quiet life and a place to heal. He'd spent decades working construction, saving every penny to buy a modest home with a big backyard, the same kind of place he and Emma had always dreamed of. To honor her memory, he built a small wooden shed in the yard, painted a soft blue, her favorite color, and hung a hand-carved sign that read for Emma. It wasn't fancy, but it was full of love. Then, one bright morning, an official letter arrived from the neighborhood's HOA. Your shed violates community aesthetic standards. Please remove it within 10 days. Mark was stunned when the HOA president, Claudia Hensley, arrived to enforce it. She stood on his lawn in her perfect suit and coldly declared, "Your shed is too ugly for our community." Mark tried to explain it was a memorial to his wife, but Claudia only said, "Rules are rules." With a broken heart, he took the shed down, plank by plank, each nail he pulled feeling like he was burying Emma all over again. A few days later, Mark saw something that made his blood boil. Claudia's husband was building a brand new red brick patio, which clearly broke the neighborhood's strict color code. When he questioned her, she smirked and said, "The board made an exception." That night, unable to sleep, Mark stood in the empty spot where his shed once stood. The moonlight shimmered on the wet grass, and he whispered to Emma, "They said it was ugly, so maybe I'll show them something beautiful." That night, on Idia was born he would build a castle. Not just any castle, but a masterpiece that would rise from the ashes of their cruelty. He pored over blueprints, permits, and building codes, making sure every detail was legal. When construction began, neighbors laughed, until they saw the limestone delivered, the arched windows, the round towers slowly taking shape. Soon, laughter turned into whispers, and whispers into awe. The HOA tried everything to stop him. Cease letters, city inspections, even false safety complaints. But Mark had followed every rule perfectly. "You can't stop me," he told Claudia at a board meeting, spreading out the stamped and approved blueprints before her. "This is all legal. You just don't like that someone finally stood up to you." Furious and humiliated, Claudia vowed to protect the community's image, but the community had already started to turn. People visited Mark's yard to see the progress. Children called it the magic house. Even those who once ignored him began bringing food, helping with small tasks, or just keeping him company as he worked late into the night. Then came the storm. One violent night, lightning split trees, fences fell, and rain poured down in sheets. Claudia's perfect brick patio crumbled under the flood, her fence torn apart. When Mark saw her standing helpless in the downpour, something inside him softened. He grabbed his flashlight and tools, crossed the street, and said simply, "You need help." Shocked, Claudia hesitated, then nodded. Together, they worked through the storm, fixing what they could. By dawn, soaked and shivering, she looked at him and whispered, "Your castle. It's beautiful." "I'm sorry, Mark." In that moment, everything changed. Not just for her, but for the entire neighborhood. Months later, Mark's castle was complete. A stunning stone monument covered in ivy, glowing at night with warm lanterns. The HOA, now humbled, asked if the annual community fair could be hosted in his yard. He agreed. That evening, under the soft glow of 1,000 lights, families gathered in his garden, laughter echoing through the stone walls. Even the mayor came to see it, calling it a symbol of resilience and art. When Claudia stepped up to the microphone, she said, her voice trembling, "They said his shed was too ugly, but what he built instead changed us all." The crowd erupted in applause. As the sun set behind the castle, Mark climbed the small tower, holding the wooden sign that once hung on his shed. He placed it on the highest stone, whispering, "For you, Emma, we built a castle." The lanterns floated into the night sky, rising like fireflies, 1,000 tiny souls carrying light into the darkness. The same neighbors who once judged him now looked up with tears in their eyes, realizing the truth. Beauty isn't about perfection, it's about purpose. Mark had turned his pain into art, his loss into legacy, and his defiance into inspiration. They said his shed was too ugly, but he built something far greater. A symbol of love, resilience, and the simple truth that when life tries to tear you down, the most powerful thing you can do is build yourself back up higher than ever before.